Welcome to a PC Guru Engine special. We have ourselves a genuine old-fashioned unboxing. It's been some years since I've bought an engine from Contax UK. This engine is one I've always wanted a model of. So this has come all the way from England, on the other side of the world, completely around the other side of the world from New Zealand, where I am. Okay, as you can see, that is very good packaging for something that's going to be rolled, dropped and thrown across the world. As you know, when you put a fragile sticker on something, that's what you get. Okay, so typical very, very fine finish, like beautiful finish. I'm going to compare it to this one I prepared earlier. So look, I'm not going to get the microscope out, but it looks to me as if the finish is slightly improved. Mental note, Contax, don't tape that there, please. Okay, so what we have here, it absolutely beautifully machined. Put some graphite in here, just a puff or two. Okay, that was far too much. Okay, I'm happy with the graphite that I've put on there. Now we're going to get this beautiful little model going. Now that's not going to be easy to get through here, is it?
2,000 years later.
Getting the wick into this has been really difficult. I've actually had more luck poking it in this end than the other end. We're also going to light the older engine at the same time. Again, we're just going to compare these two. There's a much shinier finish on the new one, this one. I mean, they are identical. Maybe it's just 4 or 5 years difference. Right. So, I'm going to put a bit of meths in these. So we have nano engine. This one is Manson Guys. So this is a traditional displacer piston engine. Will only run one way. The Manson Guys engine will run anyway, and that's using remember, that's using tungsten as a lubricant, and it certainly is very smooth compared to this one. But let's wait until the graphite gets working on this one. This one may need a little running in. So I would expect this to be well and truly running by now. And it's a little disappointing that it isn't. I'm wondering whether it needs oil. And it looks like it's away. So hopefully things will only get better from here. I spoke too soon. It's possible that they had used a little bit of oil. Yes, I'm not sure. Maybe they have. And I've just stuffed that up by putting graphite in it. Feels really loose, but still just very little to no compression. So, I mean, I never had a single issue with this one. This was just fantastic. And I've never had an issue with this one. Certainly a little bit of graphite has helped this one to run. Heat of the hand engine. I'm taking apart this engine. Now, you can see we have a gland for this, the displacer. On my one, this was loose. So I think that's actually been the problem of why mine wasn't rotating very fast. I think that was loose. I also stuffed things up, I think, by letting a drop of oil get on this. This is graphite, and the cylinder that it runs in is glass. So that is known as being the best you could do. Now, there's a tiny amount of wiggle there. I'm going to wash this graphite piston in a little bit of really clear meths. Q-tips. I'm going to wash this assembly because, as I say, I think I got some oil in there. So let's have a go. There's a little rubber thing just there. The rubber is to hold the it holds that little glass cylinder in place. Okay, good. I'm going to clean out this glass cylinder that graphite power piston goes into. Okay, the ideal solvent for this kind of cleaning would be isopropyl alcohol, which I don't have right now. So, okay, Syrah, who cares? This should work pretty well. There's one more thing I want to do, and that is to wash the inside of the gland that holds this. A little bit of string would probably be the right thing. Maybe I can fit this. I can actually. I can fit this in here. If you can hear crashing. Hey. Stop hurting each other, cats. Well, they're going rah, 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 rah at each other for a start. Cattypuss is attacking Blue. Cattypuss, stop that. Cattypuss. Oh, for goodness sakes. Cattypuss.
No.
Hey. Goodness me. Okay, sorry about that.
Hey. Oh god, look at his tail.
Oh my goodness. That is a mega fluffed up. Why have you got such a mega fluffed up tail, Cattypuss? Are you beating up on Blue?
Bad kid.
Blue? You alright, sweetie?
No.
Blue?
Come for flops.
Blue, we will look after you, sweetie. We'll try and keep Cattypuss from murdering you. Hmm?
I've immobilized the pussycat.
Yeah. Hey, Blue. Yeah, you poor bugger. Right, you've temporarily immobilized. Dear, oh dear. Goodness me.
What?
Right, if I can get back to my engine video. Okay, so we were trying to think of a way to clean all the oil off this. I don't want oil. This beautifully made assembly of graphite, power piston, and an internal gland. So we're going to wash that now in a little bit of meths. And I'm going to stick a bit of string in that, so let me just go and find some. Here it comes. Okay. Yeah, that is very, very slidey. Very slidey. Right, let's reassemble. First of all, I'll cover this in graphite. So we need to get our graphite. Here it is. Clean Q-tip. And we're going to put a bit of graphite on the ground. Impregnate this Q-tip with it. And just going to try this, see how fast we can get this engine running, because it really has hardly been working for me. Okay, we're going to try reassembling. Okay, so what I've discovered is that this rod that holds the displacer was loose, a bit like the wheel that fell off when I first started up this engine. So really, I would say this is a supremely easy engine to work on. The tolerances and clearances aren't perfect in this particular engine. Not as good as maybe the Manson engine that I've got previously from Contax. But I think it can be made to work exceptionally well. Where's my cylinder? Cylinder, where are you? He's waiting patiently over here, of course. Gonna try popping that on there. Okay. Now, a good idea might be to put a little bit of thermal grease on the outside of this. Will help it get rid of heat into there. So I'm just going to get some thermal grease. I make use of heatsink thermal grease quite a lot in model engines. Where you want them to be cool, you really want that to work. Again, if we don't like it, we can get rid of it. Yeah, okay, so in here. So we have thermal greased the inside of that. We're now going to pop in this cylinder. This is a cylinder that the graphite piston runs in. So I'm going to pop it in. It's much harder to get in than it used to be, as you could imagine. With that fully in, I'm now going to check that there is no thermal grease popped up on the other end of it. Here we are cleaning the end of that. Make sure there's no thermal grease. There was a bit, and we don't want that. We do not want thermal grease on the inside of that. We want it as clean can be. So we're going to use our friendly neighborhood Q-tip again. Thermal grease comes off really well in meths, so we often use that. Going to just push this cloth in here. Nearly got rid of all the thermal grease. This needs to be totally clean. And it is. Okay, good. Right, we're going to check that now by feeling how it goes, really. And it feels great. So I better make sure that seal is correct, which it is. And now we can screw this in. Okay. Reassembly part 1. Now, these, I believe, need to be done up well, because I noticed that we're sitting on a rubber seal. If this isn't screwed up really well, that's not going to be straight, and we absolutely need that to be straight. So I'm going to do these up as tight as I can. Yeah, and this one. Yep, and this one. Okay, good. Right, let's have a feel. So now we want to feel, I mean, that's a cleaned graphite piston. So what we have here is testing the graphite piston and cylinder, glass cylinder. Looks pretty good to me. There's absolutely no friction to speak of. Now we're going to insert this back in. Okay. I noticed that just slid out there of its own accord quite easily. So that's a good sign. We might have done a good cleaning job there. And hopefully the graphite helps. Right, let's have a feel of that. Well, that's amazing. I mean, that is much easier than it was previously. So let's see if I can get this together properly. Right, next is the displacer. Now I think it might be a good idea to cover this displacer in anti-friction just to help the air go back and forth on there. It sounds silly, maybe it is silly, but I'm going to do that anyway. Screw that on. Okay, here it goes. Now, going to use a little bit of care here. I don't want to get that silicone anywhere else. Okay. Again, doesn't matter how ugly it's looking, not too worried about that. I'm going to check. Still really smooth. Really, really low friction. So we're popping that in there. There's 2 rubber. Yep, it's on. Right, let's see. Now, since I received this engine a couple of days ago, it has been very, very reluctant to run. I've done my best getting this engine clean, get all the grease, oil, and even graphite dust that I might have put in it, or that it was put in the factory, out of it. It's nearly going already. I mean, it took me minutes to get this going. Absolute minutes, and it had to be so hot. Look, it's away. It's already now running faster than it's ever run in the last week. And there's seriously nothing wrong with that. I'm delighted. I was going to, thinking, do I have to send it back all the way back to England? So we've got almost no noise, typical of the quality of Contax, and I'm absolutely delighted to see that running so well. I'll clean up that gunk all over the displacer cap, and that'll be us. I'll be really, really happy with that engine. So the revs, I don't think you could see the revs on the very well on this computer screen here, or whatever you're watching it with. But it's, I'd say that would be up around 800 RPM, maybe 900. And I think it might get quicker as it warms up. So, as I say, before I've just cleaned this out, it still wouldn't have been going by this stage, wouldn't have been hot enough to run. But I'm really happy with that. Success looks like this when you're trying to get your engine to run a bit quicker. Yeah, nice. Actually working really well. Finally working at the speed I wanted it to work at, I expected it to work at.